Selling or buying a home can sometimes be no quick or easy task, but you can certainly take action to move the process along and get a good offer. Joining us now with tips to help us out is Kevin Cruz from Kinetic Real Estate. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation. Looking forward to this.
Of course. Now, when it comes to Kinetic Real Estate, how did the business first get started?
Well, I've been in business in real estate for 7 years. Well, prior to that, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18 and started multiple ventures outside real estate. And I just fell in love in real estate at the age of 26. So I started, doing it. And I guess 4 years after me being, in a different brokerage, I was with Better Homes and Gardens and Keller Williams. And after that, I got an opportunity to start Kinetic with 3 other people with me. So, yeah, we've been around for going on 3rd year in 2 days, actually.
No, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's so awesome. Coming up on the anniversary.
Coming up an anniversary 2 days from now. So perfect timing being in here, exposing us and exposing the company.
Yeah.
So right now we operate with a team of about 64 people at the moment. So we started with 4, now we're at 64. So it's pretty amazing how the company grows. So we're all over the Bay Area. And we just expanded in Sacramento a few months ago.
Awesome. Well, let's get into some of these tips for sellers and buyers, because sometimes when you sell or buy property, it can be extremely overwhelming.
Yeah, yes.
But let's first start with sellers. If you were trying to sell, what is one of the top expert tips that you have?
My top expert tip, there's a few of them, right?
Yeah.
I would say find a local realtor that really knows the ins and outs of the area, school districts, school areas, neighborhood, pocket streets, and know what kind of buyers are buying in that area, because there's marketing list price strategies that you have to do and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, what about when it comes to renovating the home?
Renovating, that is, I would say in today's market, especially right now with rates going up, buyers have a lot more choice now. It's all about presentation. So even if the property is owner-occupied or vacant, you always want to find a way to renovate it. And the way we do it, at least our strategy, is we always recommend cosmetic renovation. And there's 3 things usually that changes the ambience and the looks of the property. Number 1 will be lighting, number 2 will be painting, and number 3 will be flooring. So changing, like making those 3 things like bright and well and just fix and good, it will change the looks of the property. And we always recommend cosmetic work, because that's what first-time home buyers, that's what they're first-time home buyers. They're gonna pinpoint, look at everything, and I don't know, they judge everything right away. So
So once you've renovated, how does staging come into play?
Staging come into play. We usually, so after we meet, first time meeting a client, for example, right? They're looking to sell their property. We'll tell them, hey, we have all the resources and everything that you need to make this, from start to finish, where they can just, sit on a couch and pretty much do nothing at this point. We'll handle everything for them. But we bring an interior designer prior to cosmetic renovation, just to get some ideas, because that interior designer is usually the person who will stage the property. So normally, at least here in the Bay Area, when people sell properties, they either sell it vacant, or they're not there anymore, or they sell it as owner occupied. But with staging, there's actually ways to stage it, whether it's whether you live there or not, such as depersonalizing the place. So you can put like a different type of artwork if it's owner-occupied. But we always recommend vacant and stage, and vacant, renovated, and stage when we sell properties. But those are important factors. It usually increases the chance of selling the property faster and higher when it's staged, statistically.
Yeah, which is faster, higher. Those are all things that are great when it comes to selling.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what everybody wants.
Yes.
I want the highest price.
Of course.
Yeah.
So what about on the buyer's side? We talked about some tips for sellers, but what about when you're buying a home?
Buying, it's the same thing for sellers. Before you start, find somebody who really cares for you, somebody who can help you save money, somebody who's giving you like the guidance from start to finish, somebody you feel really comfortable with finding. And trust me, there's I always teach this to the company. Just assume that every other person that you know knows a realtor. Like everybody knows a realtor nowadays, right? Because there's a lot. And finding somebody who really cares for you, somebody who will watch out for you. That's my first suggestion.
Which is so important because you want that relationship.
It's all about relationship.
Yeah. And for someone to, be able to build like that with you. Now, what about finances and keeping your finances in order?
Yes. So normally that, a good realtor, right, as someone who's very well, usually someone who's very well connected, because with lending, that's actually like, I would say, 50% of the buying process will be lending, because in order for you to write offers on properties and find the properties that you want to that you like, you have to get your finances up in place first. And usually the way I break it down is like well, there's brokers like mortgage brokers, there's direct lenders, there's depository like big banks like Wells Fargo, Chase, and Citibank and stuff. But that will be the next step, is to connect you with the right lender. So usually that realtor will meet with you first and just kind of get an idea where their finances are at, or what area they want to buy. And, just overall, like getting the wants and needs, like what's your down payment going to be, right? Where do you work? And from there, we can kind of get an idea whose lender we're going to introduce you to. And normally, we usually introduce them to 2 to 3 lenders, and that will fit their needs, and they'll talk to them after.
And what about being very clear as a buyer on the things that you must have in a home?
Yes, we like to do that. I mean, honestly, I think the very first thing we have to figure out first is the finances part. Because somebody can say like, hey, I want a 3-bedroom and 2-bath, or, I want a 1,500 square feet 3-bedroom, 2-bath in San Mateo, for example, right? Which is in, San Mateo County. And what if the finances doesn't, match that criteria?
Yeah.
So it's always like, finding the realtor first, that you really feel comfortable with, getting the finances ready and getting the pre-approval. And from there, we meet with them, hey, the next step will be like, this is based on the criteria, based on everything that you have. This is, the right properties we think that you can get. You can either start with a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, what areas, what's most important for you? Is it school, or, like education for your kids, for work? Like, some people don't want to travel.
Yeah, it makes total sense. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us here on Live in the Bay and sharing some tips. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
To connect with Kevin, we'll have a link on our website at liveinthebay.tv.